Do-do-do. Welcome, welcome everybody. Getting ready to start. Definitely need Hey, Mr. Brom.
Hello.
All right, welcome, Amy.
Hello.
All right, I'm on 5G TP-Link, just so you know, Amy. Just so you know. Look at that. You can see look at that. Can you see it? Essence of Pearl on my chest. All right. All right, everybody, welcome to the call. So if you haven't, go ahead and log into Trailhead. And I'm going to go ahead and just say it. We're going to use Trailhead and the built-in playgrounds, but you always have your developer playground to do whatever you want with. So let's see. All right, we're going to log into Trailhead. And then just give everybody a second to get on. iPhone, is that Jazz? I think Jazz is iPhone. We'll see.
Yeah, that's me, Don.
Hey, Julia Shavitz, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Most excellent. And getting better. I'm gonna mute Gil for a second. Got guys there. All right, so I can look there, see if that's any better. Let's see if this. Gil, help with the light. Better. And the light, Marianne, the light. All right, Brian, welcome. All right, again, if you haven't logged in to Trailhead yet, go ahead and do that. I am going to jump into I wish Trailhead was really as good, like some of the things that just bug me, but okay. Not a problem. There we go. There, the trail training. All right, and we are in the Lightning Experience customization. And we left off at compact layouts. I believe we covered compact layouts last. We didn't. Let me know. All right, so I am going to, we're going to jump right in. Unless somebody's got questions, comments, or concerns, my goal is to just taking feedback and I'm learning as we go, and I'm just moving forward into the next module that we're picking up where we left off. Again, due to a lot of varieties and factors of varieties, we're still working on the course breakdown. I mean, we're going through the course, right? So if you're hanging with us like Brian and Gil and Jazz has been hanging with us, which is either steady eddies. Other people are just watching the recordings. They're getting stuck with YouTube videos only because we have the once you pick up one of these YouTube videos, there's a playlist. We're getting it organized. It's just taking more time than expected because I'm not hiring anybody to do it because all right, for a variety of reasons. Okay, so we're going to talk about last time we talked about, we're now in this era of customizing our app. And why is this important? Because customization is the key to having the software bring efficiency to your organization. Look, here's the deal. Since we invented the clock, we've all had 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Actually, I was reading about this morning. All this happened around the time of Caesars, one of the Caesars, the Roman Empire. So just the last couple thousand years, they figured out the calendars and the clocks, right? We've been using time as this measure, and now we've got time as, a measure of wealth, expertise, whatever, all that stuff. So look, you've got to use a software for your end users. Slows them down. Why? Because it's new. But over time and with interactions and evolution and constant dialoguing, right, you and your users can create an environment where Salesforce requires as little touching as they sorry, I have my phone not on mute. A little, human interaction as required, so that, humans can interact with it and get as much information as possible, right? It's of all the efficiencies, we're still trapped by time, and we need to maximize our time as best we can. However, the paradox is that it takes time to get those time benefits, to experience those benefits of time. So as we go through customizing page layouts, some of the suggestions I'll make for you and your org are based upon the years of my experience with CRM and dealing with humans. But really, you got to trust your own experience to say, given the job I'm doing right now, what do I need to see? What do I need to do? Can I do it here? Do I need to go somewhere else? And those are kind of the questions that if you keep dwelling in, you bring about solutions to problems that you're experiencing. Now, I say it that way because a lot of people try to solve problems that don't really exist yet, or they try to solve problems that are a little too soon to solve. And what do I mean by that? Well, as users get used to software, everything's slow and uncomfortable. Everything's difficulter than it was in the old software. Why? Because they already know the old software. They already know the way that it was. And human beings tend to resist change, but only change that they don't want or haven't decided that they want it. Well, damn, look, New Year's resolutions. Humans don't even want the change they want, right? I was reading another article about New Year's resolutions, actually in my Dollar Shave Club February newsletter. And one of the it was a really brilliant thing that they said that, look, most people don't keep their New Year's resolutions, not because they're weak, it's just that they don't maintain consistency. They don't have what they were trying to say was they don't have a structure to fulfill their commitments. So the most important thing to being productive is keeping your word. That's it. That's the secret. That's the end of story. That's everything. Now, that being said, being productive and keeping your word, there's two, Salesforce is really just a system of agreement that we make with ourselves and our customers and our coworkers about, what's true now, what was true, and what's, what we hope to be true by planning and those things, right? So keep that in mind, because what I was saying was most people solve problems too soon. Like, you've got to work through the getting used to it part, right? So when you make a change, there's, depending on your organization, the size, the ability to communicate that change before it happens or ongoing as it happens, in order to get user adoption, one of the most important things you got to be able to do is, give people a chance to get used to it because their complaints don't represent their abilities. So if any complaint too soon, I kind of take with a grain of salt and go, "Yeah, that's cute. That's like my, you know, think about having a 1-year-old baby and then the baby cries and you think, oh, the baby wants me to do my taxes different. No, the baby doesn't know what it's talking about, right? So uh, why are you listening to a baby about your tax advice? Stop it. Well, don't listen to your users when stuff is new. I mean, listen to them, but remind them that they're new. Remind them that, hey, these changes I made are going to be uncomfortable at first. Then change is always uncomfortable, right? It's very difficult to get the motion down. Think about any type of martial art, anything you've ever done like that, or a dance or anything like that. So the next phase after that is mechanical. Like, okay, I got it, but this does not seem like it's very efficient. It's mechanical. And then it becomes a little more natural. It becomes easy. It becomes a little less effort, right? You're starting to get the hang of it. You go, oh, okay, all right, I get it. Well, it's going like this, and then you forget all about it. It just happens. It's just running in the background, moo, 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 like the music I got going in the background. Then and only then, if you continue to pay attention, and I mean that metaphorically and realistically, you continue to pay attention, and then you start to see, oh, I'm doing like this, but maybe if I did like that, wow, that would change everything. With that, oh, that's so much better, right? So it's when you get to that level of mastery is when you can start really making improvements. So as we go through these this next part about customizing your record details page with the page layout editor, it's about learning how to set it up so that things make some type of sequential or logical sense initially, and it has to fit your culture. It has to fit your workflow, like the way things work in your company. You want to think in terms, because most people think in terms of past, present, and future from a left to right, up and down methodologies, like reading a book. That's a skill every user brings to the party, is reading a book. We all learn to read a book in Western literature, our alphabet, not anybody speaking my language. Top left, one line at a time, down till you get to the bottom, right? Left, right, left, right, left, right, one line at a time. So set things up in the same kind of order, but use those things that already have a lot of memory to them. So, all right, so we're going to talk about managing and creating page layouts, because page layouts are magical in that you can set the data up for the kind of users that are going to be interacting with that data. You can also change the page layout depending on the kinds of users that are interacting with it. So now I'm not talking about personality styles or what some people might lie about their learning style, which isn't true, but more about how they need to do their job, what do they need to see, what do they need to do, and how the page layout helps you control that information, or the way that information is presented, so it's more effective for groups of users like that need to do and see the same thing. All right, so page layouts are what you see when you log into Salesforce, right? So as you read the, let me pop in where we're starting in the chat. And I will put, okay. So we're in page layouts right now. And so now in Lightning, and I got to look this way, so I apologize because I'm looking at the screen there and I got the camera here, so it's not the same. So in Lightning, in Classic, page layout, the page layout editor was the same page, the only page layout editor there was, but Lightning has two. So Lightning has the collection of components and how the page is laid out. And I know, same words, different meaning. And so, and then there's the details page. Like the details are about that data that's collected of that record and all of its related data. How do you lay that? What do you make available on the page using that editor? So you can customize the page content, which is the details page, or layout using two different tools. We're going to explore both of those. Yeah, why do we do that? Because Lightning's not finished being developed. They're still working on it, making it awesomer. So the page ladder lets you customize the fields, lists, related records, and custom links that the users see. It puts them in the order the fields appear on the page details. You can determine whether a field is visible at this level, or even editable or required. So when we created custom fields, remember, and like, this is how I'm going to teach this class because I'm preparing you for certification as much as well. When you create a field at the system level, you can make that field required. The impact of that decision is that every user in your system has to be able to see it and edit it. And because every user can see it and edit it, you can't hide it. You can't make it read only, right? So why is that important? Well, think about certain data. If you're, and I don't think anybody here is in the healthcare field, but if you're in the healthcare field, there's personal data that should be restricted to which users can see it and use it. If you're in anything with e-commerce, I know, Julia, you're in staffing, so, social security number, right? You can't let, somebody's got to collect it, but then nobody else needs to see it but that one or two people in HR, right? For payroll and legal or something like that, right? So that data needs to be protected at all times. So page layouts give you another layer of doing that so that when a field is required by your sales users, then you can create a page layout that's assigned to sales users. And then for them, it's required, but for somebody in admin, it's not, or somebody in accounts receivable, that field's not required. They just deal with whatever they deal with. Or some profiles may not even need to see it. So again, you can assign it based on groups of users. So whenever you're creating something custom, always ask yourself, is this for everybody? Because if it's for everybody but one person, it's for nobody. You got to separate who it's for. So we'll talk more about that, but I want to nail the philosophy of it because that matters when you come to take the test and understanding what we're doing in Salesforce. So let's talk about the parts. What's on a page right now. What are the buttons, lists, record? Let's talk about that. So the first thing is the related tab. So the related tab is all of the records that there is a relationship to the record you're on. You could think of it like parent-child, right? These are all, but I'd really like you to think it more accurately, where there's a one-to-many relationship. What does that mean? Well, when it comes to my data as a contact, I might only have one email address, but I might have many credit cards, or I might have many phone numbers beyond a list, right, of what's on my record page. I might have many companies that I work with. As a consultant, I have many companies that I work with. So anything where you can think that there's a one-to-many relationship, the record you're looking at is either the one that has many or one of the many that has one. We call those fields lookup fields. The child looks up to the parent. So in standard Salesforce, the contact looks up to the account. And whoever you work for, that is your employer. That is the account that you're associated with. Now, if you're a consultant like me, then I'm employed by sales and technology consultants and Johnson Controls and Computer Futures and Bayforce and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So I could, as a contact, I could have many accounts that I'm related to, and Salesforce opened this up a couple of years ago where you can actually record that. So I don't need to put 10 different Dominic Karuba records in there, each with its own account that it's related to. Now I can just relate that one contact to many different accounts while one is my primary. So, and where that matters is where that relationship exists. So if the relationship exists on the details page, then that's the child looking up to all the different parents to create that relationship. If the if the record you're looking at is the parent, then on the related tabs will be all of the children, whether, whatever those transactional records are. So related are things like, think about a contact. You can be related to many opportunities, many cases, many, let's just leave it there. That's the easiest way to do it, right? Opportunities and cases are simple. That makes sense. Now, the details tab, again, contains all of the fields that you want to display from that particular record. So when you think about how that looks, it looks a lot like a spreadsheet, right? So it's all of the columns in one row for that record can lay out onto the page so you can see them in a more pleasant, consumable environment. Any question about that? Now, there's actually 2 pages that happen. So it says here to change the content of the fields on a related or detail page, you can click edit. Well, that's true. So, but think about what's happening on the details page, right? You click edit. If you click edit, another page pops up, and that's the edit page. So I'm just pre-framing you to let you know, like, oh, that's a page 2. Or if you search for something in a record and there's a layout of how the records are laid out when you're searching for one of those parents, right? Different columns, that's a page 2. Or that's a lookup page. Is that right? The search page? Maybe look, I forget what the names are all called because I don't mess with it all that much. But you get what I'm saying, right? So anytime you see something present itself, you could probably edit or customize that. But typically edits work on the detail page. Now, yeah, the edit button doesn't let you configure which fields appear in the record details. Let's talk about that. So how do you customize which fields appear on both the details page and the edit page is through the page layout editor, right? And this is a floating, classic looking tool that we use in Salesforce. It's got 2 basic parts. One is the palette on the upper portion of the screen, and the records page layout on the lower portion of the screen. Now the palette floats, and the palette's got 2 sections. It's got a column selector on the left, and then it's got the things that you selected on the body of the right. So when you go down the page layout editor, this little, where it says lead layout, this little blue and gray, that'll float as you scroll down the page. So that will stay with you on the page so you can operate it from wherever you're working on the page. And we'll get into that. We'll get our hands on it. We'll get clear. We'll get dirty with it. Now, so you might have looked and said, hey, what's that highlights panel there? And remember that highlights panel? Well, remember in the highlights panel, from the last module, whatever shows up there is based upon, anybody remember what it's based upon without reading it? I mean, you go and read it, but if you remember, so that's based upon the compact layout. So again, all of these little things intertwine and attach to each other. You don't need to know that for the test, just know that's where it lives. Now, in this example, we're gonna add and change the basic field on a lead record. And we're gonna go to page layouts and the lead layout, and we're gonna move the fax number around, right? So I'm gonna jump into the challenge. I think the challenge is available. Nope. Actually, I'm going to jump back to the last module we were in yesterday so I can launch my playground. So if you weren't able to do that, so I'm going to go back to compact layouts. I'm going to click on the challenge. And from here, I'm just going to launch my playground. I'm not really going to take the challenge again. I'm just going to launch the playground. So remember we created the energy consultations. I'm going to jump in. Yeah, and this is a big thing. Salesforce is doing with in-app guidance. Remember that? This is them talking about something new, annoying, but it happens, and it's, you want to annoy your people when you got something new, because they won't look for anything new. They'll only, and this is new too, the app launcher is new. Somehow, it wasn't fast enough with 2 clicks. Now 3 clicks, now you got to do 2. So I got my sales, my navigation all laid out. So let's look at the leads for a second. So if you're there, go ahead and open up a lead record page. Is everybody good? Open up their Trailhead Playground. So all I did was I went back. You don't see my screen. Oh, that's probably because I'm not sharing my screen there, Gil. Duly noted, sir. Can everybody see my screen now? Thanks, Gil. Appreciate it. Yeah, look, that just happened. All that chatting. Not a single screen on the display. It's all good, though. All right, perfect. So I'm moving my screens around a little bit so I can see everything. All right, so let's look at the leads. I'm going to go ahead and look at my, oops. It's fine. I want to get to Andy Young. It's Angie's son. So when we look at, thank you, Salesforce. So this is the lead record. Remember, this is the highlights panel. This is the path, which we have not updated to path. Right now, it's just the graphical stages. We have activity, details, chatter, and news in the body. And on the side panel, we've got related, right? So if you click on the gear on the page, you look, there are going to be 2 choices: edit page, edit object. Now, your first instinct is going to be to click edit page. Why? I see them now, Amy. But no, chats are very hard for me to see. Nope, I didn't see yours. That's right. It's hard for me to see the chats, everybody, because they don't make a sound when they pop up. And I'm usually looking at the other screen, not this screen. So I'm usually trying to look at the camera when I'm talking to this screen. And then when I'm looking down at that screen, doing something, and that's where Trailhead is too. So if you would, this is fine to just unmute and rely on your voice to carry. It'd be fine. Unless it's private and you want to chat me privately, then unmute and say, I chatted you privately. Otherwise, I'm not seeing it. Okay, perfect. So I don't see chats very often because I'm training at the same time. I got them up now, and I might see them more often, but that's just not a good chat strategy. Okay. So it might seem like edit page, given everything we were talking about, like, man, click on that one. It's not true. So I'm going to click on edit page. Don't follow me in this one. I'm going to click on edit page, and it's going to actually bring up the Lightning Page Editor. So the Lightning Page Editor, again, we're not doing it right this moment. This is where you lay out all the components. So I'm explaining it to you now, so you watch my screen. Don't do this. Just watch me. As you can see, there are 33 standard components. Used to be just 12, then 21, and then 22, and then 26, and then no kidding, went back to 22, and then now it's at 33. So what are all those things? We'll cover it. We'll cover it. We'll cover it. Some of them, not all. Some of them, you just got to today, maybe, whatever, and you don't need them, don't worry about it. Okay, now, so notice as I click on each one of these components, the side panel changes, right? The side panel changes. And these are all very different. You literally can navigate, and they're working to make this whizzer and banger, whiz bang technology. So you can drag anything. So for example, that rich text that we did on the very first day, if on this page, you wanted to add a note or the ability, for example, to for somebody to just take notes here, like Brian, I know for you guys at Wingman Enterprises, Somebody likes to just take, right, notes. Look, make it a rich text, make it the place to put all the notes. And then from there, copy and paste into the different fields. That's easy enough. And that will add it on the editor. You can put anything you want in here. You could have a series of questions. What is your event? How did you Waldo? All right, all that stuff. You can just save it, put it on the page, and then activate this page. And we'll go through this as we go along, but this is the page layout editor where you could say, nope, this is the one that everybody uses, or I could apply this particular page layout to different groups of users, record types and profiles. Now in the Essentials edition, you don't have, and I don't know if Professional, yeah, Professional you do. You have record types. That's a more detailed, we'll cover record types later on. Just for Essentials, you don't have record types. So if I save it and then I go back, it'll take me back to that page, and you can see that I added a component. Now again, you didn't have to do this. I was just doing it randomly. And did I activate it? I probably didn't activate it. Okay. So again, counterintuitive. I click on the gear and I go to edit object. That'll take me to my object editor where we created fields before, if you were paying attention. Now for my object manager, I can go to page layouts. This is very similar to what we did the last class with compact layouts, and we didn't get into buttons and links and all that stuff, right? And you can see that I've got different page layouts depending on, one for marketing, one for sales, one for support, and one that's just called the master. So when you've got different groups of users, you would set up different page layouts. What's the challenge with that? What do you think the challenge is with that? The challenge. What's the challenge with multiple page layouts? What's the challenge with multiple page layouts? Yep, putting it in chat. How about that? What's the challenge? Well, there's multiple of them, which means you have to manage all of them. So as you make changes to one, does that change need to go to others? You can't do it automatically. So the challenge is not having to maintain, like when you add a new field, you can, when you create the field, you can just add it to every page layout. The problem is it just slaps it on the page in the next, I think the main detail section. Is that where the field belongs? Still got to go move it in the right place for the right folks. So for now, I'm going to jump back into, so I just wanted to show you that, right? So when we go to the lead layout, we'll go to the lead layout, and you'll see none of that lightning stuff that we saw before. Here is the floating panel. I guess that's what it's called. What is it called? It's called the page layout editor. It's the floating panel, right? As I scroll down, it floats. And as I move down to different sections of the page, it will head down the page with me. So for fields, all of your objects fields will be accessible here, right? All will be accessible here. The difference between fields up here versus down there is when a field is already on the page, it's dim up top. When it's not on the page, it's bold. And if you want to move a field off the page, you can simply click and drag it. That'll move it back. That'll move it off the page. I'm going to put it back. You could click and drag it to put it on the page. You could hit the little remove icon to get it off the page. Or you could click the settings, the properties this is where you could make a field read only or required. And I don't know I don't remember off the top of my head how to do this, but when you think about certain records, like a converted lead, you don't want to keep changing the data on a converted lead. So a lead that's converted is a particular state of that lead record, right? So it's in a converted, the stage is converted. Well, you can create a validation rule that says once the stage is X, then this page becomes read only. You do the same thing with opportunities. So you can't mess up past data. Because again, we're not political parties. We don't change history. We just record it, right? And then we deal with that recording and then we update it. All right, so, but again, here you can make it read only or required. And because it's required at the page level, it's a second round validation, right? So it's not at the system level. So if you make a field required at the page level, it goes through the first system validation rules upon save to say, all my data types correct, all my required fields entered, and all my unique fields are unique. Then it'll go through your custom validation. One of them is, this was required for the page. So now I'm going to kick back a message. So only the users that are assigned that page have to are required to fill in that field. Sorry. It's getting warm in here. My heater was just killing me. Okay, so any questions about that? So the properties of the field can be controlled by the page, which is controlled by the profile that it's assigned to. The properties of the page, the properties of the field are controlled by the page layout, which is assigned to the profile. It's a lot of P's, but write down your P's. Make sure you get your P's right, all right? So if I see a field is on the page, but I can't see it visually because my eyes haven't processed it, because it could literally be anywhere on the page. A little trick is if you double click on the field, it'll take you to that field. It'll highlight it for a brief second. I don't know why it doesn't stay on, but for a little brief second, you can see down in my field right there, it says created by. As I double click it, it'll take you kind of to that field on the page. So it's an easy way to find fields. Now, what else is there besides fields? Well, below that are buttons. So there's two types of quick action buttons, those that are in classic pages and those on lightning pages. And then you can see the difference. Quick actions in the Salesforce Classic publisher. So post, file, new task, log call, new case, submit for approval. Any of those buttons that exist, you can add to the page. Will it add? Why won't it add? Oh, because it's a lead. It's a lead. Now, Lightning, notice it's got this little gear icon. It says, hey, this is controlled. This is controlled by the default predefined actions. Salesforce, because you don't have any custom ones, you can add buttons here, quick actions or buttons, so that your users can use them if they're not there already. So again, that'll be mobile and lightning quick action. So if I want to create a new contact, a new account, all of those, you can add those buttons onto the page by moving them there. Now it takes a little experimentation. I don't remember what happens with all these things because I don't use them all the time. I just try to get what I need. Now expanded lookups is a new thing. It's where a list view acts more like a table or more like a list view on the object tab, which is great. We're not going to mess with that now, but related lists, this is one you're going to use. So again, related lists are anything this record has many of. In this case, activity history, right? I got many activities that have happened in the past. My campaign history, what's the deal with this guy and all my marketing campaigns? Content deliveries, files, HTML email status, open activities, notes and attachments, all that's fine. Now, why aren't they on this page as a lead? Well, do you need them for leads? Why would you attach vials to a lead? That sounds like you're, going to use that record again a lot more. Why not just convert it and attach it to the contact record or the account record more specifically? So remember, leads are just business cards. They're there until you find out that they're worth building out in the accounts, contacts, and opportunities standard databases. Okay, that's the quick tour of that. So let's see what the exercise says next, because I don't remember. All right, now. So it said drag the facts field off the page. So let's go there back to our fields. Now these are in alphabetical order. So again, I'm going to click facts and I'm going to click and drag it off the page as instructed. When you're done doing that, you can click quick save and that saves the page without closing the editor. So the mobile field, because everybody's got a mobile device now, let's go to that mobile field. Let's change the properties and make that required. Just like that. And I like the quick save. Why? Because better than forgetting. Then you got to remember to go do it again. Now, a couple of the icons are important. Red asterisk means required. Blue bullet means it's required at the system level. Whether the fields are controlling or dependent field. Now, this is a little early to understand what this is, but when we get into pick list values, we're going to use controlling independent pick list fields. So let's say, for example, you want to pick the state of Georgia. Well, around the globe, there's more than one Georgia. If I want to pick the country first so that I limit it to just the United States of USA versus the states that are in Canada or provinces, or states that are, we're not the only country in the world that has states or provinces, right? So I don't want to scroll through an entirely long list. So if I can chunk my list down, right, then it saves me having to scroll through irrelevant data. We'll cover that more. And then the little lock is the field is read only. And again, any questions on that? Okay, so now we're going to go into our org, back to our org, and we're going to go to the energy audit page layout. So I'm going to go back to my org. I'm going to click save. So I'm back on my org. Is everybody good with that? Okay. I'm going to go to my energy audit. Whoops. Click on Object Manager. Now, again, you could also use the quick find. Here, my energy audit. One of the things built in is page layouts, all my objects, even my custom ones. So there's my energy audit layout, but I'm going to create a new one. And I'm going to create a new one from the existing one. And I'm going to call this energy audit sales layout. Why? Because that's what they call it. And I have learned the value of being compliant with Salesforce. No one else has taught me that lesson but Salesforce. Then back to the page editor. See? All right. So I'm going to go down to my energy audit details section. There it is, our energy audit details. And let's see what it wants me to do. So I want to move my audit notes and type of installation to the right column above owner. So remove those fields So my audit notes. Type of installation. Notice there's other things I could put in there. I could put in sections. So little sections that I could build in if I want to make my information chunkier. So some people like peanut butter smooth, some like it with chunks. I like it chunky. So I like to keep my data collected in sections. We're not going to do that now, but you could. So I'm going to do a quick save. So let's add some related lists. So in step 11, I'm going to click the related lists and drag the files there. So if I click on related lists, you can see I don't have anything pulled down as related. So I'm just going to drag it down onto the page, my files. That's it. And then hit quick save again because I don't know what's next and I don't want to lose it. So now we're going to assign that to profiles, right? So people can see it. And I'm going to click save. Did it say to do that? All right, well, it should have said, step 13, if you're looking, should have said click save because we're done with it now. And now we want to go to page layouts and page layout assignment. So now that we have 2 page layouts, now we have a choice of which ones our users can use. I'm going to click page layout assignment. Why are we doing this? Well, because not every user needs to see the same data the same way. And some need to see it differently. It makes a difference how you see it. In some of my personal development workshops over the years, there's a lot of different ways that this is true, but the context is decisive. So what that means is the context determines the way of the way you interpret or data or anything that happens in life. So in this regard, this example, we're changing the page layout, which changes the context of the content. So it changes the framework of the data so that it looks different. It's easier for someone to interpret. So we're going to click edit assignment. And then we're going to select the page layout. So the new sales layout, we want to assign it to the custom sales profile. Whoops. Notice how I selected custom sales profile and then I chose a different page layout. And these are all my profiles. And these are the 2 choices that I have for the way they see the data. When I'm done with that, I'll click save. Maybe I should have done it with mine as well. Yep. So I'm going to edit the assignment again. Repetition's the mother of skill. Can't do this enough. Matter of fact, I've done it a lot more than you, and I still make a mistake about the order in which it happens. Why? But it doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that the outcome of my actions is correct, not the order, the process that I do it in. Sometimes the process matters, sometimes it doesn't. Well, now you can see, whoops, it didn't take. So let's see what I did wrong. To system administrator, and then I'll save it. Because again, who cares how you got there as long as the outcome is that my admin user and my custom sales profile user are now using the saved page layout that I created. Are you in the same boat? So now when I go to setup, I'm going to open up sales in a new tab. And I'm going to look at that lead as the administrator. If I go check out one of my lead records, you'll be able to see that, hey, this is laid out way better. I've got the name, the company, Oh, wait, I'm supposed to go on my energy audit. Sorry. Oh, there's energy consultations. Even had a logo. Wasn't there today. Wasn't able to see it. Look at my energy audits. Check out my energy audit. I can see, oh, there it is, ground mounted audit. So everything's easier to lay out, right? Now, I know some people on this call have worked with somebody who wants everything right in front of them when it's not technologically possible without a 12-foot monitor, right? And everything right in front of them so they can just put it wherever they want. So you got to be strategic, judicious, and effective all at the same time. And that takes a little something, something to make that happen. But this is a pretty good, right? I got the company name. I got the audit name. I know who owns it. I know what type it was. I got my notes. I got my cost. Yeah, we're going to calculate that or reverse calculate it. It's fine. But do it manual before you do it automatic. Because if there's something wrong in your calculations, and once people figure out your calculations are wrong, they'll stop using everything, not just the one thing that's broken, right? Because human beings do that. They throw the baby out with the bathwater. Why do you think they have that statement? Why do you think we have a saying called don't throw the baby out with the bathwater? It's because humans tend to throw the baby out with the bathwater. This doesn't work. So therefore, all of Salesforce doesn't work. The number one CRM on the planet doesn't work for what I want it to work, so it must not work at all. Okay, Sparky, that's going to serve you well during the zombie apocalypse. Okay, so you can see we laid it out. Now, if you have any questions, take the quiz. Let me know how you do. Post your score in there, and we'll move to the next one. Give you a second. We covered a lot, but take the quiz. Huh? Really, Salesforce? You're not going to take me. Oh, it's because I'm finished. Yours may take you directly where you want to go. Give me a green checkbox or a hoop. How do you do? Something in the little checkbox. Let me know you're done. Now we're going to get into some really fun stuff. Creating custom buttons and links. And I'll be looking back and forth a lot in this one. All right, let me know if you're done. Completed that challenge. Thank you, iPhone guest, aka Jazz. I'm gonna rename you. You don't get to not. Jazz is done. Gil, Amy, Brian, give me the checkbox. I'll be right back. All right, who's done? Who's ignoring me? All right, I'm gonna move on. Stop me if you don't want me to move on, because I'm headed forward. Okay, custom buttons and links. What's the difference? Well, one of them's a button, the other's a link. I don't know what the big mystery is, but here you go. They are. Let's see something for a second. Let me see something. I'm gonna see if I can make this more visually appealing. So because every business is unique, if your users need to access data somewhere else, you can add those connections directly to your record pages so users don't have to travel to get what they need. Custom links can link to any external URL, a visual force page, or your company's intranet. So think about all the systems you have and where you're trying to go. You know, put it where people are working and keep them in Salesforce. Hashtag Salesforce every day, right? I mean, Salesforce doesn't want you to be the only software to use, just the only software to use all the other software, right? So, and you can decide whether that that Yahoo link includes the record detail of one of the fields or two in the search if you're going to execute a Yahoo search or a Google search. If you wanted to launch, and this is a little good note, if you wanted to launch something very specific, then you might want to consider a visual force page, which is something that you'd have to hire a developer for. But if it gets the job done and saves you people time and effort, why wouldn't you spend the money on that? It's a couple $100 an hour, and you get a couple $1,000 in return on efficiency. So there are a couple of different buttons in Lightning that you want to make. Primarily, there's three. So there's a list button, and that appears on a related list from an object record. So if you're looking at the contacts on an account, and a button on the list would be a list button. Why? Because it's on the related list. If it's a detail page link, it appears in the link section of the record details on the object page. So if you're looking at my page here, whoops, if I look at that down here down at the bottom, I could have a section for links. So let me go to my page layouts for a second. My energy audit certificate doesn't have, well, I mean, it's brand new. So, but I could add the links. Whoops, where's that here? I'm actually going to go to something more robust, which is account. So if I go to my account page layout, you can just watch this. I'm just showing you so you don't have to go try to find it and watch what it does. So my custom links, see, I got a billing custom link there, and that's right on the page. So it'll take you right where you need to go. And then there's a detail page button. So that appears in the action menu in the highlights panel of a record page, which another way to say it is over there on the top. So these buttons along the top are the detail page buttons. Even though they're the highlights panel is a compact version of all the details on the record so that you don't have to scroll to find the record data that you need. Now we're going to create a custom list button first. And you can add this to a related list. And you can add it wherever that button shows up, wherever that related list shows up. Let's see. So the example says when you entered audit information called the Gene Point 5-year review. So there's an audit on that account. So when you view that account record, that related tab will show energy audits, when the last one was, and every list transactionally of all those things that were done. Now, if you want to add a custom button to that audit related list, where it goes directly to the Ursa Major Solar Energy Audit Guidelines, then she's already uploaded a PDF, and then she needs its URL in order to have that custom button point to it. And here's how you do it. So we're going to do it together. So I'm right in the middle under Create a Custom List button. I'm going to go to the Sales app. Again, I click the 9 dots, navigate to the Sales app. That will bring up my default tabs for that application. We talked about this, right? Apps are just a collection of tabs. And whatever you use in that job role, hey, is there. So I uploaded a file or two, right, that I have. If you haven't uploaded a file, then upload a file of your own. And what action button would you click to upload a file? Take a wild guess. upload files. Hello. Okay. So if I go to the very right-hand side, now this could be any file shared with me, files in a library, files that I'm following, or files. These are just different tags on the files that I have. So I'm going to click the drop-down menu like it says, and I'm going to click the share button. And here, under who can access, let's see. I'm going to click create link. So now that I have a public link to this file, remember Salesforce is just one big database in the sky, right? So if I know that, now I'm going to copy the link and then done. Now I'm going to go back to setup. I'm on step 8. Anybody's lost. I'm clicking on my object manager and I'm going back to energy audit. Scrolling down. That's my custom table of audits. I'm going to click on my buttons, links, and actions. And I'm creating a new button or link. I'm going to give it the label of audit guidelines. Remember the description is something for you to tell yourself in the future. But in training, we're just going to remember that we would do it in real life. We're going to point it out. You don't have to do it. Now we talk about what type of display is this going to be, right? We're going to select, did I select list button already? Audit guidelines, select list button. Let's see, there we go, list button of the display type. We're going to list button. So what it's saying is everything after the URL, I want to take out. So I'm going to have the /SFC and all the gobbledygook, or you could just copy the one in the guidelines. I'm sure that'll work. So I'm just going to click save. I'm not going to worry about all those details. Why? Because that ain't on the test. And you don't really need to use it until you understand what all that stuff is. You're not going to understand what all that stuff is. And you're not going to use it till you understand what all that stuff is. Does that make sense? So don't try. The other thing is you got to learn what to concern yourself with in Salesforce. And you only concern yourself with stuff you know. And if you know you need it and you don't know it, then you got to learn it. That's how you concern yourself with it. Okay. So now I got to add it to the page. So now we're going to go to, so we have the link on the energy audit related list. Now we got to add that related list to the page. So in step 13, when I've saved it, now I can go to back step 14, which is the account. And I'm going to go to page layouts and the account layout. And you could click the related list if you want, but you could see my energy audits is on the page. However, that button or link is not. So this is based on two things. So a couple of things you've got here, and you can't really see it all that great, but you got the available. So when you have a related list, all of the fields that display on that related list are controlled by you, the admin. So think about what makes the most sense. When I'm looking at the list, I want to give as much data to the user while they're there so they don't have to click into that record to get more data unless they really need it. So you want to think about your top basic information, right? What do you need the most? So for here, you can't really see it. I gotta shrink my screen a little bit. It just doesn't work very well. Any changes that I make, again, I could add let's see, I could add, maybe I want to add my electric cost, my usage, and as of the last time that happened, right? So those are the fields that I can display in the columns when I look at the list. That's a bonus. Just want to remind you about that. But down here at the bottom, you got the buttons list. So what buttons? Well, I've got the audit guidelines button is the only one I've created, so I can add that to the page. Y'all see that? Now I'm going to click OK and then go back to save. You don't need to click quick save unless you're going to keep working on the page. Now, if I go back to my accounts, so I clicked over to my live accounts. Give you a minute. You need a chance. I'm going to go in which one of my Gene Point. I know has an energy audit. We did several. And now when I go down to my energy audits, there it is, my audit guidelines. Ta-da! Now, of course, if I'd have put the PDF version, it would have been there. But there we are, gents and gentlies. Questions, comments, concerns? All right, I'll give you a minute to finish that up. And then we're going to jump into create the next step, which is creating a custom detail page link. So this is where a sales rep gets crafty. And you got to look, here's the other thing that if you really want to, here's the diagnostic tool one of you should invent. It's a recording tool. It tracks all your, actually they have something like this already. It's just expensive. It's a recording tool that tracks all your conversations. And, you know, based on the tempo, the script you use or don't use, then, you know, you want to be able to enter data in the order in which it appears in your life, right? So the same thing happens here. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to find ways to enter data in the order in which it appears. It's a good tagline, by the way. Or a topic line, I'm going to say that. So enter data. So in the order in which things appear in conversation is the time you want to collect it, right? So as you're going through the grocery store and you take that right turn, whatever your grocery store is, I'm not predicting, right? But I'm going to my grocery store, so my wife knows what I'm talking about exactly. I take a right turn and I'm not going to get to produce, I'm going to get to deli first. Then I'm going to take a left turn, I'm going to go through bakery. If I take an early left turn, I go through cheeses. And then I get to the back and I'm going to take another left turn. I got all that meat on the right-hand side. I go all the way down to produce. If that's the order in which you pick things up, then if you knew that going in the grocery store, right, wouldn't it be great if I could have a grocery app that ordered everything I was shopping for in the direction, in the order in which I was going to pass it in the grocery store itself. So I'm not running around like a maniac in the grocery store. And look, some of you know how to do that. You just take your route and then you know where to put things. But I would say map out your route in the grocery. That's a little exercise. Go to your grocery store and map out where things are. Then create a template, right? And then, when you got deli, put your list of things that are in the deli. You'll pick them up while you're there. And then you got meats, you got that. And then you got dairy, you got that. And then you got produce, you got that. And then get the hell out of there, because everything in the middle of the grocery store is only going to make you fat or unhealthy, or fat and unhealthy, because you can be skinny and unhealthy, whatever that is, right? So stay out of the middle. Just circle around. Make your list. Anyway, that would be helpful, right? Same thing with your data. All right, now we're going to create a custom detail link page. Everybody good? Detail page link. So we're going to go back to our setup menu. I'm going to go back to my object manager for energy audit. And I'm going to do a little filter. We'll go to my page layout. I'm sorry, buttons, links, and actions. And I'm going to create a new button called US Average Energy Costs. And yeah, move my page over. Now this is a detail page link. And again, my description is for my future self, not my training self. Okay. So what do I want? Now we're going to add the URL that's in our guide, and I will post it in the chat. So you don't have to copy and paste it if you don't want to. And I'm just going to put the entire and I think that's it. I'm just going to hit save and then OK. Now we have to add them to the page layout because I just created the button. It doesn't know where to go yet. It's just like creating a custom field that you don't add to the page. And now I'm going to go back to my page layout because it's a detail page. So it's on the detail page and I'm adding this. And I'm going to go to my sales layout because that's the one I assigned to myself. And now my buttons and links is my US average energy. And I'm going to bring that down to my custom links. Everybody get it? All right. Now I don't have to reassign it because I already assigned to me. So any changes I make are going to automatically get assigned. I'm going to refresh my page. I like refreshing the entire page. You don't have to. I'm going to go to view. I'm going to do energy audit. Just go right to energy audit. See what I did? So in my set, I just clicked the, I knew what I wanted to go to. I didn't have a link or click to it, but I could just type it in, energy audits. And now when I open that energy audit record, I see I have that new link down at the bottom. And if I click on it, so I forget how I set up the link, but there it is. Yep. There it is. Now here's what I think is funny. They give prices in cubic feet. Anybody know how prices are presented in advertising? That's right, in therms. What does cubic feet turn into therms? How much is it in therms? Why don't it, again, horrible world we live in where we have just too much information. All right, next section. Ready? This is fun. Create a custom detail page button. So now we want a custom button. We want to add that to the account pages that shows the account's location on Google Maps. This is a very practical one, so please bookmark it if you haven't. We're going to go to our account object. So we're going to go to the object manager and set up to the account. Of course, we're going to go new buttons or links. And we're going to create a new button called map location. I'm going to copy and paste it. I'm going to make it a detail page button. So I am going to paste the code that's in there. And I'm going to expand it to make sure you know what's really happening. So what it's basically doing, it's not magic, but it is clever. So and I'm just adding something to make it easier for you to see it. So if you're looking, I'm saying my formula is, hey, go to Google, maps.google.com/maps, where query, Q equals query, Q is the query, where you can query the account billing street, space, that's what that %20 is, street, city, state, zip, do that for me, right? So you're telling the computer to do what you already know you want done. And then I'm going to click save. And I believe I hit OK. And now I got to add that to the account page layout. So I'm going to click on page layouts. I'm on step 7 of this last exercise. We'll go to my account layout. And now in my buttons category, you can see I've got map location. And I'm going to add that to where it says account detail. So map location, and I'm just going to throw it right on the very front. Well, let's see if I can get it in the front. Can I move it? Oh, no, I can't. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it there. Click quick save and save. Now I'm going to go straight to my account. Again, I just had the tab open, so I click right to an account record. So notice that on the account record, I now have a button at the very top called map location. And if I click map location, did I hit the wrong one? Close the window. There it is. I was like, A landmark at One Market Square. Questions, comments, concerns? All right, now please check your challenge and let me know if you completed it or if you need help. Now's the time to open up your mic, share your screen, and we'll walk you through any challenges you got. I'm gonna get some more water. So again, these are what Google info on a contact. Well, I gotta, oh, I gotta create another one to complete the challenge. Huh. All right. So for the challenge, I got to go to my contact. So if you tried the challenge and like me, you didn't read what it said, just click launch challenge, you found out, oh, not there yet. So I'm going to create a button. I'm in the contact manager. New button or link. Button. Now look, I learned something new today. I learned you can type in google.com !Q equals and then put in whatever you want. So let's just try something real quick. I'm going to go to google.com !Q equals So you just got to correct me, huh? So there it did. It executed it, had it right. So there's this thing called prosciutto bread. If you eat pork and cheese and bread, which is delicious, then go to Dolce Clemente in New Jersey or any of these other places that make it too. Maybe this place in New York. I don't know. Check with the pickle. See. But yeah, that's clever. So clever. Oh, still not done. Whoops. Now I got to add that to the page layout. Silly goose. My buttons, Google info. Now I can check the challenge. So again, if you went to the contact object, created a new button called Google Info, put in the custom link, and added that to the contact page layout, you should earn 500 points. So you must add the buttons to the page layout as actions by dragging them from the mobile and lightning actions category. Not mobile and lightning actions category into the palette, Gil, but rather on the page. So you're talking about for the challenge, right?
Yeah, a little bit above where you're at because it didn't show up. You see the yellow?
Here? Wait.
No, back in the challenge.
Yeah.
Mine, it didn't show up. The map location.
Hold on, let me check my contacts for a second. Hold on, let me just check. So I got the Google Info buttons on there,
Hmm.
and then it pulls up Pat Stump. Is that what? I'm not sure of the question. So walk me through the question.
I don't think I have that either. I was looking for map. I'm trying to navigate back to see.
All right. So look, let's check it out. So for this one, let's go through it together. So on the contact buttons, if you created a Google Info button, right? Do you have a button named Google Info? So go to buttons, links, and actions.
No, you're ahead, and I didn't get there because it didn't work.
So remember in the challenge to complete the challenge. Now we did other things, but to complete the challenge, it's I failed the challenge the first time. I didn't read it. I just clicked send and I got some water. So let's go to the contact object manager. Are you there? In setup, go to object manager, then contact. Let me know when you're there. And this is good for everybody. This is how you learn. You just got to muddle. You got to wrestle through it. You got to punch your way out and hit your way. And then you got to protect yourself when you get beat up by somebody or something, even if their name's Sutherland or something. All right.
Okay, I'm at that page.
Okay. Did you click new button or link? Well, first off, do you have Google Info?
Oh,
I'm going to delete mine.
because I never made it that far. I'm right above you on the challenge. Back up to map location. That part didn't work before the challenge.
Oh, okay.
Step 12. Select map location.
Uh-huh. So on the account record, you don't have the button that says map location?
Correct. So
you didn't have to add it to the page. So go to your account object manager. And under buttons and links, let's make sure you have it first, which is you have map location. You have that now ready. You have that button made.
Hold on a sec. Okay, buttons, links. No.
Okay, you got to create it. So let's create it. So I'm going to put in the chat. Here we go. That link. So I'm going to put in. So if you don't have map location, click on. Let me delete it for a second.
Okay, so just read right where you just were. I already did that. I already made a map location. It's not showing up. In the yellow, it has.
Hold on. What you keep saying yellow? What do you mean by yellow?
Go back to step 12 and read right below it.
Oh, that the important message. Okay. If you have overwritten the default settings. Oh, if you have, so have you overwritten the default settings on your page? You don't know, do you?
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. So, overwritten the default settings. Oh, I got you. Okay. So, do you have the button first, the map location button in the account
It's not
record?
showing. I made it, but I guess I don't have
What?
it.
Hang on. No, no, no. Have you made the button when you look at buttons, links, and actions? Do you have the button called map location or link? Yep.
No, I don't see it.
So you haven't made the button yet.
Well, I went through the process. I guess I'll just do it again.
Yeah. If you don't have map location there, you might have something else, but not map location.
Okay.
So I'm going to delete it. I can make it again with you if you want to watch, or you can just do it again. Follow the instructions. Because if you don't have the button first, you can't add it to the page. The yellow part is about adding it to the page. If it's not there, you can't add it.
Gotcha.
So go through and add that button. Click new button or link. And then pop in that code into the formula. Make sure you make it a detailed page button. So it's a quick action button, if you will, on the page. Have it display in a new window. So again, all these are more detailed explanations of what all those things can do. But if you're not that technical, just follow the defaults. You'll be all right. Once that's done, save it. Let me know when you're done saving that button.
Yeah, I'm at that page right there.
Okay, so now go to the page layouts and go to the account layout page. Layout, account layout, page layout. Now when the page editor is loading up, by the way, y'all are doing all, if you're hanging on this at all, like if you're in this at all, you're way ahead of 90% of the users of Salesforce. You understand that there is a page layout editor, you're way ahead of the crowd. So now if you just click on buttons, if you see your map location button.
I only have the one choice, energy audit. It doesn't say account layout.
Whoa. Are you on buttons or related lists? Well, first off, what object are you in right now? Account or energy audit? Start at the top. Object
okay,
manager.
yeah, I'm at energy audit. So
yeah, you got to put it on. There you go.
Got it.
That's why it's not there. You put in the wrong object. That's all.
Okay.
If you put it in the energy audit object, it'll all work there, but it's you're in a different place.
Okay.
This is, by the way, this is good. Everybody should pay attention to what just happened to Gil. He was working in Georgia, but reading a map of New York, going, this doesn't look right.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not working. It's working just fine. The map is fine. You're in the wrong spot. So you got to check where you're at. Always check where you're at first. When you remember, by the way, you won't remember until you can't find anything, and then it looks at, where am I? Oh, this is what Alzheimer's patients feel like. I'm in somebody else's house totally altogether, right? That's why I would hate living in a suburb where one of these cookie cutter neighborhoods, all the houses look exactly alike. You know, and you pull in and you're like, it looks the same, but everything's different. And then there's different people in your house, and you call the cops and you get arrested. It's crazy. Slow your drinking down. You're drinking too much. Now, New York, I can't help you there, Julia, because everything could look alike in New York. You never know. Every building inside kind of looks alike. So, all right, now, Gil, are you there now?
I was almost there.
All right, good. Keep going. Don't sweat the prep too much. I just want to get you to complete the challenge. So that's fine too. I want you to do the challenge as well. So if you guys are working it at it, keep going. let Gil finish, and you can open up and ask a question now if you want.
Okay, well, I'm where you are. Hmm.
Listen to the bot in the background. Can you hear it?
Now it looks like you're in the. I see.
What object am I in?
Okay, you're in account, page layout, and buttons.
Mhm.
Now, I see map location, but it's not highlighted, so I can't grab it.
Yep, it's already there. It's on the page.
Okay, okay.
Down at the account. See it? If it's highlighted, it's available to put on the page. If it's not, then it's on the page. I got my standard buttons and I got my custom buttons.
Got it. Okay. Okay, so it's there.
There you go. Now hit save. And then let's do the same thing with the contact. Let's jump into the challenge. Let's check everything at once. I go to the contact object. And then in the buttons, we got that Google Info button. Make sure that's on the page layout. How's everybody doing with this? Everybody okay? Give me a chat or something. Let me know you're all right. Or that you're lost completely, because this is important enough to, check it on out. And then when we go to the buttons, at Google Info, you see it right there in your custom buttons. And it'll be on the page, be good to go. Whoops. There's my map location. And there it is. Huh. Pyramid construction is in France. Amy, go find a job there. Let's see which arrondissement it is in. So it is in the 5th arrondissement, which is near the 14th arrondissement. And the 11th arrondissement, which I think we've spent some time there. It's fun. I don't remember which one's the best. It's all good. I mean, it's not true, but it's all good enough. Look, looks like Atlanta. That's why Paris is just like Atlanta. Look, there's 2 beltways. A third one gets a little crazy. There's Jersey, even in France. And Barcelona, right there. We have people we met this weekend are going to Barcelona to live. 16th, 16th is where it's at. It's not far. It's only a bus ride away. All right, so you get what's happening, right? So what we're doing is we're making, actually this is kind of far, right? There's the 16th. So it's funny about, they don't really follow the same order that you'd like them to. All right. I think the 16th, there's the 8th, 9th, yeah. Just like the French, it'll go in order. All right. How you doing, Gil? Okay? Did everybody pass the challenge? Everybody got through it? Gil's working through it. See what I hate about Google Maps? For the record, why don't you show all the arrondissements to see where I'm at? I think the 16th is right here. But again, it's not on the map. There it is, 16. And then that place is right over there. So it's not far. Close enough for government work. All right. There it is. It's just right down the river. Take a little boat ride over. But Amy, wasn't that that cool little art district thing right there near the 5th? I don't remember where it's at. I don't know if you remember or not. Anyway, you remember the place with the modern art museum? I don't remember where it's at. All right, not the point. All right, so how do we do? So let's jump in. Gil, you got it all right? Did you pass the challenge?
I think I'm almost there.
All right. When you guys are done with the challenge, we're going to jump in to the last one. Just going to take a quick preview because we're coming up on time already because of Gil. We're going to blame Gil this time. No problem, Gil. Everybody's a winner. Everybody takes the blame.
Got it. 500 points.
Nice. Congratulations. See, it's good to just work through it, like get it done. All right. So we're going to talk about quick actions. We're going to see if in 18 minutes we can do a 30-minute module, but we may or may not. So quick actions are about the same thing. So they basically, so what quick actions do, hold on, let me get to my, so we may not finish this one, we may just do a little quick preview on it. So what they do is they let you quickly do tasks such as create records, log calls, send emails. It's almost like a little macro, but it's not a macro. You can set up macros as well. It's something different. So they're object quick actions. There's basically two types. There's object specific. So they're like account quick actions, contact quick actions, those kind of things, right? And then there's global actions. And we work with those in a different spot. They live on a layout of their own because they're part of the global publisher. So if you go, so for example, I'm looking at my screen right now, you'll notice there's a little plus sign at the very top of your screen. That's where global actions live. And these things are generic. So they pull in, because they're global, they're just activating that thing from there. You can have several of them, but for the most part, it doesn't take into account specific information. We're going to get to those. So an object-specific action, let's go back to our account right in the middle of the page. So we're going to go back to our, where it says here. Whoops. Right here, we're going to create an object-specific action. We're going to create a new action, right? So this is where we'll create a record. And then we'll create an energy audit from that record, and that'll save us some time of having to navigate to do all those other things. So I'm going to copy the call to action. Now I'm in my buttons, links, and actions. I'm skipping ahead a little quickly, but not much. So here I am in the exercise guide. I'm in the object manager of the account. I'm in the buttons, links, and actions section. The new action, and then we're going to create a record as part of our action. So we're going to create a new action. And there's a couple different types, right? So I can send an email, log a call, something custom Visualforce, which you don't know how to do, but know that it can be done. Update a record, create a activate a lightning component, which is, again, remember all those lightning components I showed you on the page? The lightning record page editor. You can have custom or standard ones of those, or even a flow. A flow is like a guided process. So when you absolutely are, know your journey of the conversation, like taking a job application or taking a mortgage application or, setting up somebody for a speaking engagement, I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and the order matters. So if you'll just answer my questions as I ask them to you, I'll get all the information filled out and get you a quote today versus having to take me a couple of days to get to it. Would you rather do it that way or your way? Oh, great. We'll do it my way. Thank you. I like doing it my way too. Me too. Yeah. All right, here we go. So we're going to create a record. Now, which is the target object? So of what is the question, right? Of what? A record of what? So that. Now this kind of leads us to, this is kind of a manual automagic process, but Salesforce is built so that if you do one thing, then you could, when you save the record, all those things working, you can then turn that and say, all right, now it's time to if you do this enough manually and it's consistent, you can plug it into the automation. We'll talk about how to do that later on in the class. All right, so here, we're going to call the action new energy, the label. Right? New energy audit. And the name, again, when you see name, like, why does it get the underscores? It's because the computer needs, that's a computer name or an API name. Description is for yourself later on. And a success message is for the user to give them acknowledgement that what they did was correct. So we're going to remember all those things for later. So we click save. And now we're basically bringing up a little page editor of what we want to fill out, right? So it has a red asterisk. And then now we need to add that. Now that we saved it, we basically just saved a little page that pops up within our record so that we can then add that to our page. So now we're going to go to page layouts and go to our account layout. And there's two places for actions, right? Quick actions and mobile actions in Lightning. One's for classic, the other's for mobile. Now, as a note in Lightning, so one of the things that Gil was kind of talking about was here in this section called Salesforce Welcome Mobile Lightning Experience. What did we just call that one? New energy audit. Okay, new energy audit right there, right? So what they're saying is these actions are set by the administrator for your Lightning pages. So you have to override the customization to plug them in there. Does that make sense? So if you want to be on Lightning pages, you have to override it or go back into right? So we're going to override it. And then we are going to add the new energy audit. I'm going to put it right, because if it's something we do a lot, I'm going to just add it up top. It kind of places it wherever you want to place it. So you drag them around. So a couple things we don't need. You can take off a few things we don't need. We don't need the thanks. You can click and drag it off. We don't need the question. Again, you don't want to give users everything, just everything they need. Sharing, and these are get wacky. And see, sometimes that happens where you've selected a lot more than you realized it. Change record type. That's a mouse foo. Get contacts, that's definitely old news. Send text. Who texts anymore? All right. And then when I'm done, I'm going to click quick save and then save. Why do I do both? Just because I don't know if I want to do something else. I'm moving fast for class, but that's not always the case. Now that's built in. So now there's going to be a new energy audit button. So I'm just going to show you that and then we'll see if we can do that again. Let's see if we can see it here now. I think it may be on the page. Let's look and see. There it is, new energy audit, bam. And that pops up, energy audit name, test for class. After electric cost 236, usage. And boom, now I create a new energy audit. Bam, I didn't have to go anywhere else, do anything else, just like that. So always test, test, test. Now, the other actions, email, log a call, new event, new task, don't show up here because they're associated with activities and they appear under the activity tab. But all your global actions happen. These are also global actions and publisher actions. Now, we've only got 9 minutes. Y'all want to try to speed round? Oh, man, this is a lot. But we might be able to do it. So let's just try it. You want to go for it? Let's go for it. So I am in the next section. We added that to the page layout. And now we're in the next section. We're going to create a global action. So I'm going to go back to my setup menu. And now global actions, like a lot of things global. I got my global actions. And yes, publisher actions are a little different. So I'm going to click publisher layouts. And here's my global layout. Remember that whole list of things that were there? So I'm going to click edit. And now if I want to make sure that this thing is available to everybody, I'm going to go to mobile and lightning actions and I have that new, let's see, I'm going to open up my list for my Salesforce mobile actions. I've got a quick action. Where is it? I'm going to go. Let me follow the instructions. All right. So I clicked on that, my selection. So my new campaign, where's that? Drag new campaign from the palette into Salesforce Mobile Lightning. Am I in the right place? Wait a minute. Publisher layout. Yep, that global layout. Mobile action Lightning. There we go. I was somewhere. I don't see a new campaign. Do y'all see a new campaign? Huh. aha, I don't have a new campaign, which is why it's not there. I'm like, that's weird. I'd have to create a new action first. This is going to be create a record. It's going to be my campaign record. See if this is right. Wow, this one threw me off. Hope it threw you off too, because I don't want to be the only one that got thrown off. All right, let me look and see. So I got my mobile actions. Yeah, no, new campaign's not in there for some reason. So clearly, even with a global action, so now I need to submit a case. This is fun, right? So now what I really need to do is submit a case. Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. I thought I did it. Let's see. Oh, I forgot that one for some reason. Did I mess that up completely? I did mess it up completely. All right, I think I did it right. Let me see. So I created a new campaign. Sorry. Let me delete that one. I know where we're picking up tomorrow. I mean, Thursday. So I went ahead. What happened was I scrolled too fast. I forgot to do this. I thought I did it, but I must have not followed the instructions exactly. So create a record. The action. I'm going to create a record. The target object is campaign. There it is. New campaign. Oh my goodness. I just went all over the map on this one. Edit that correctly. Woo! All right. Got a new campaign. Where's my new campaign? Dun, dun, dun. All right. So I got my new campaign. So on the click save. On the action layout, remove parent campaign fields. So in the action layout, parent campaign fields. And add expected revenue. All right. And campaign owner fields. Oh, okay. Again, make my little page layout right. Move my little description over so it looks good. Hit save. Oh, goodness. All right. 1 minute left. I'm going to go back to global actions. Oh, my Dieu Seigneur. Okay. I'm going to go to global actions. Publisher layouts. Edit my global publisher layout. Now that I got it right. Mobile action lightning buttons. There's my new campaign button. Grab my new campaign. I'm going to put it right up top. I'm going to click save. Now when I go to my browser, and this will end on a huge note, if I click on the browser now, nothing's there. But if I refresh my page to load up all those changes, dun, 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 now I can click my global actions and see new campaign. And it's 6 o'clock, everybody. Thank you so much for your time and energy. We have complete the quiz. Email me if you have anything else. Thank you so much. We will pick up. We are done with Lightning Experience customization. So woo-hoo! Just in case you didn't realize where we were, that's where we finished. Make sure you finish that up. And any questions, comments, or concerns before we end this call? Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate your attention. I look forward to moving you to the next level of your learning as we hit the next module, which, hang on, I'll tell you what it is. What's next in the module is, just so you know, put it in the chat so it's here. So next week we're gonna jump in and we are going to start with the Salesforce mobile application. We'll get through that because different quick actions that the mobile needs will be there, and that'll help you kind of understand more about quick actions, more about custom layouts, more about how to customize navigation. Thank you again for your time and attention. I'll see you guys Thursday. Remember to schedule time with me if you have any questions or concerns. Otherwise, we're going to keep trudging away, and then we're going to knock this all out. Thank you so much. Make it a great day.